Mr. President.
The senator from Maryland.
Thank you, Mr. President. I see that the distinguished lady from Alaska has come to the floor, the manager of the bill. I have a statement that I wish also to give, but I didn't know if she needed to say something. Mr. President, I rise today to add my heartfelt and impassioned voice to call for action to help the people who live in Flint, Michigan, to help them with this emergency situation and the fact that we have to be in it to deal with the emergency today and the long haul for tomorrow. This is of catastrophic, almost Armageddon proportion, that an American city has been poisoned because of a situation that has been self-induced and self-inflicted. What is happening in Flint, Michigan is appalling. It is a tragedy. It is a disgrace, and it will be for a long time. We need to fix the pipes right away, but the fixing the human beings is going to take a long, long time. Now, let's get real. We are now bogged down in parliamentary inertia. We are now bogged down in Washington wonky budgeteer talk. Where's the offsets? What is this? What is this? Are we human beings? We take an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But sometimes an enemy is a tragedy. Where it comes from, God knows, a hurricane or a tornado, we rush in to help. And if this had been a terrorist attack, oh my gosh, we would be willing to go to war to defend America. Well, we need to go to the edge of our chair to help Flint. My gosh. The senators from Michigan are looking for $400 million. That is no small amount of money. But how I bring to my colleagues' attention, it is the price of one F-35. One F-35 that's supposed to protect America. Good for that. But right now, I think the people of Michigan would say they would like to have the help that they need. If we are talking about a threat to the people, the threat is here. Now, where are we? We've got to deal with this. And I am the vice chair of the Appropriations Committee. I say to my colleagues, guess what, gang? All this budgeteer stuff, all the battles with sequester and so on, we have only $800 million for safe drinking water. Less than $1 billion. Flint today is asking for $400 million. We know it's a down payment. I say to my colleagues from Michigan, this could happen to any state. It could happen to any state because our infrastructure is not only aging in place, it is becoming dysfunctional in place, and it is becoming dangerous in place. $800 million. The horror stories you've already shared. Gosh, you've done a great job speaking up for the people. I really compliment your advocacy. But you know what? We are all Flint. We're all Flint. And the facts will speak for themselves as you talk about how the Flint water is contaminated because its pipes are permanently damaged. I understand that replacing Flint's corroded water infrastructure will cost anywhere from $700 million to $1.5 billion. Approximately 500 miles of old iron pipe and thousands of lead service lines. It is an untold, it is a big cost. But I want to speak about the children. I want to speak about the people. My gosh, what are you going through? I don't know how you can run a family. Well, you can't run a family on bottled water. You can't run a business on bottled water. You can't run a city on bottled water. I don't know how you wash. I don't know how you take care of your children. I wouldn't go anywhere in Flint unless I personally prepared my food or washed my clothes or saw what I was doing. I'd be scared to death. And I bet those parents are too. And what are they afraid of? We need to get there. Now I'm going to talk about the children and the human cost. I say to my colleagues, both from Michigan and here, Senator Cardin and I we know a lot about lead poisoning. We have lived through really difficult problems in Baltimore because of lead paint poisoning, a legacy of paint used during World War II. We know what it does. It lowers IQs. It causes significant developmental delays. You have behavioral issues, including attention deficit disorder. It is a lifetime. That little boy or girl that's 6 years old, God willing that they live to their 80s, they're going to carry this in their blood unless there's incredible medical life breakthroughs for the rest of their lives. Senator Stab and I have discussed possible medical breakthroughs, but gosh, we got to get on it. We got to get on it. We got to get on it. So the effects of poisoning could take, again, the lifetime. When I knew about lead paint in Baltimore, it goes back to my days in the city council, where the paint was from the 40s. There were, coming into Johns Hopkins and the University of Maryland Medical Center, kids just so sick. I remember a story about a little boy who was so weak and depleted. On his way to school, he laid down in the middle of the street. He was so depleted because of the consequences of lead paint. So that's why I support the Sabinell Amendment to provide $800 million in loans and grants. Also to provide $20 million at HHS to bring together the best thinking, to have the best response to the human infrastructure. I've worked on this issue for a long time, going back to Senator Kit Bond, my pal and partner when we had the old VA HUD committee. Senator Bond was a real champion on this. So this can be a bipartisan solution, and let's make it an American solution. This isn't about you, and it's not about the Democrats, it's about us. As the vice chair of the Appropriations Committee, I want to work with certainly my colleague and so on how we can do this. But let's get the lead out of the pipes. Let's get the lead out of the water. Let's get the lead out of the way the Senate is functioning and move to begin to make a down payment on this. Mr. President, I really want us to understand we've got to solve this problem. And I'm going to conclude to this. I just want to say something to the mothers of America. We need you right now. The mothers of Flint need you. The mothers of Flint need you. The fathers of Flint need you. The mothers and fathers of Flint need you. If you're a mother and father anywhere, you could be a mother or father in Flint. Let's organize ourselves in the most effective way to solve this problem, and let's begin to deal with critical infrastructure so we begin to prevent this happening in any other American city. Mr. President, I yield the floor and ask unanimous consent that my full statement be in the record.
Without objection.